make these investments so we can see more activity, more jobs, more training, more energy efficiency, more renewable energy in communities across this country. Very simply, our plan says that we want to do the following. We want to rebuild America clean and green. That means energy efficiency in buildings. It means a smart grid. It means public transportation to move our people around our cities and between cities. It means a new emphasis on renewable energy. It means we want to make it here in America. It means retooling Detroit to build high fuel efficiency vehicles. It means restoring the manufacturing base of this country and putting Americans back to work making stuff, the components of the new green economy. It means increasing our commitment in research and development and the education of our people so we've got the workforce that can lead the globe in a clean energy, good jobs economy. I'm optimistic we can make this happen. When we've got leaders, a coalition like we're gathering here under the leadership of Governor Strickland, when we have people all across this country who are hungering for real economic progress, I'm going to close with this thought. We faced enormous crises before. In the midst of the Civil War, when 600,000 Americans were dying of disease or on the battlefield, it's that moment when Abraham Lincoln chartered the Transcontinental Railroads and passed the Land Grant Act that created hundreds of colleges to train workers across this country. When we started World War II, we had a horse-drawn artillery in the U.S. Army. 3 years and 8 months later, we had the most powerful military, and we'd secured freedom and democracy across this globe. I'm a child of the Sputnik era. I remember my dad taking me out on the lawn, pointing to the skies, noting that the Russians had nuclear weapons. They were in the space before we were. How did America respond? We educated workers. We started the Apollo program. I'm one of those kids who went to college on something called the National Defense Education Act, student loans. We knew if we taught our people to be the best, we would succeed. We're at that kind of moment in history. It is my pleasure now to introduce someone who's really a leader in building a new economy, someone who really centered his State of the State address around building Ohio jobs. And here in this state that faces great challenges, you have a good leader, a man who understands that if we train our people, if we equip our people, if we give them the resources for entrepreneurs and workers and communities, we can all succeed. Governor Strickland has been a leader in pushing forward on education. He's been a leader in pushing forward on energy efficiency, on solar and wind and biofuels. He's made his mark in this country as a guy who wants to put his own state back to work, and I'm thrilled that he is here today with us to join in our effort to launch the new Apollo program and have it embraced across this country. My honor to introduce your governor, Governor Ted Strickland.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to have these folks visiting Ohio today, because I do think that what they are promoting is going to be good not only for Ohio but for our country. We have an opportunity as a nation to once again challenge ourselves. We can challenge ourselves to imagine what is possible, challenge ourselves to see energy not as a burden but as a great opportunity. We can challenge ourselves to commit the resources, the brain power, and the brawn necessary to make renewable energy more abundant and to make our buildings more efficient and to give the greatest workforce in the world the chance to make the parts and the products that will power the world. The new Apollo program, which I am enthusiastically in support of, is bringing together business and labor, environmental and community leaders in support of a major federal investment in energy efficiency and energy conservation, the development of clean fuels, rapid transit, next generation vehicles. You mentioned Detroit. Well, you know, Ohio is second only to Michigan in the production of automobiles, and we are first in the nation. We want to encourage smart growth, and we want to enjoy the millions of jobs that those efforts will produce. I want to thank the IBEW and Policy Matters Ohio for assisting in the putting together of this meeting today. According to the United States Department of Energy, Ohio is the 6th largest consumer of energy in America. Major pillars of our economy depend upon that energy for manufacturing, for agriculture, and for logistics. We understand how critical it is that our energy supply be reliable, affordable, secure, and sustainable. And we are working to build the foundation for a new energy economy here in Ohio. We now have an advanced energy portfolio standard in Ohio that requires that at least 25% of all the electricity sold in our state by the year 2025 be generated from renewable resources or advanced energy technologies. We believe that this standard means that Ohio will be the 3rd largest producer of electricity generated by renewable and advanced technologies. And we're proud of that fact. With our job stimulus package, which we passed recently, we have committed $150 million to be invested in advanced energy technologies within the next 3 years in Ohio. And we're proud of the fact that we have a $4 billion school construction program that will require that all of the schools, some 350 schools built in Ohio, will be LEED Silver certified buildings. These commitments that we are making in Ohio to advanced energy have one thing in common. They will produce Ohio jobs and stimulate Ohio's economy. The new Apollo program captures the boundless American spirit that is reminiscent of the original Apollo program's mission to reach the moon, as Phil has indicated. In 1962, President Kennedy spoke these words. He said, "We choose to go to the moon in this decade, not because it is easy, but because it is hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one which we intend to win. If we do what the new Apollo program is encouraging the next president and the next Congress to do, we will see a renaissance within America's and Ohio's economy. And I am happy to be here to do what we can as Buckeyes to facilitate this effort." Thank you, Phil.